Hey guys! Ooh. Okay, my job in this video is to not look at the viewfinder. I'm going to look at the viewfinder if I'm holding up a palette because I want to make sure the palette's in focus so you can see it, but I'm going to try not to look at the viewfinder while I'm talking to you because if I'm out of focus, oh well. It's like my worst nightmare after the Nudie Patootie launch video and like the footage went out of focus with me filming my eyeshadow and the whole video was just a hot mess. I was like, today's video is going to be some of the best and some of the worst of the newer palettes that have come out recently. And I did this video twice already on my channel. I did it almost a year ago and I talked about the hits and the misses, girl. And the sad thing is, like, pulling out my makeup, like, I got a lot of misses. Really, some of these palettes I've tried out on my channel and, like, I'm basically following back up with you and letting you know, like, they didn't work for me and, like, I never use them ever. I never touch them. Do you guys ever have that? Like, you buy some palettes that you were so hyped for and then you just really don't use it? Some of that's going on in here, but I'm going to explain why it didn't work for me and all kinds of good stuff like that, girl. I'm going to tell you the tea, but I also got, like, boo koodles of new palettes coming out that I am obsessed and that I keep grabbing for. So that's what's gonna happen today. I leave for New York in the morning. I have tons of business, tons of meetings, tons of good stuff happening for 2019. So I will be in New York for like a week. I hate leaving my cats. It's like my worst nightmare. Now that's enough rambling. Girl, let me go ahead and sing that subscribe song and then we'll jump right into the video. Subscribe to my channel before you leave. Subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Show me the love. My favorite comments are when you guys are like, God, I gave the video a good thumbs up before I even watched the video. That's love right there. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, guys. First, I think we should start off on a positive note. Oh, and by the way, I gotta put the disclaimer in there. Let me put this on silent. But just because a palette did not work for me does not mean that it ain't gonna work for you. And it doesn't mean that it's just like this awful, terrible palette that needs to be put in the trash and no one should ever use it. It just means that it didn't work for me and I'll tell you the specific reasons and maybe those reasons you're like, yeah, I don't like that about palettes, so I'm gonna skip that one. It doesn't mean the brand's bad and all this drama and boo koodles of mess. It just means it didn't work for me. It's just a very surface thing. Now, if a palette did work for me, that just means palette worked out great for me and I like it. And if you ended up hating a palette that worked for me, see, we're just different people. And we just like different things and that's okay because that's how the good Lord in heaven made us. Let's start with something I did like, girl. Okay, I'm gonna say the Sultry palette. This one recently came out from Anastasia Beverly Hills and I just keep going for it. I love it. Sometimes a deep brown in a palette, oddly enough, this is so weird. And by the way, it's been a long time since I just sat down and talked to you guys. I just talk to you guys instead of like glam, glam, glam. But anyways, this dark brown in the palette's one of my favorite colors and I find that that's like so random for me to even say that, but I really like it because of the punch that it has. Some dark browns you have to build and build and build them to really get them like this color dark brown on your eye, but this one you really don't have to work with that much. It's just super, super pigmented. Now, Anastasia's palettes do have a good bit of fallout. That is with all of their palettes, so just beware of that. But in general, they are extremely pigmented, punch a big pack, and they blend out effortlessly. Yes, this palette has a ton of neutrals, so if you already got like 15 bazillion neutrals, you might not want this palette. It does have a pop right here. She's got a pop to her little. That's just the facts. I like the palette. I've really been enjoying it and I'm gonna swatch the new Ariana Grande song I have had in my head nonstop. I cannot stop singing it and I ain't even singing it. I ain't even got like an ex to be singing about over here, but it's just a jam. You know, as soon as her and Pete broke up, she was like, girl, let me head to the studio and make a hit. Here are some of the swatchy poos of the shiny, shiny metallics in the Sultry palette. They're very pretty, but as you can see, very, very, very neutral. Very easy to use, easy wear. Peachy! Peach! Anywho, I am here for this palette. Next palette that I'm not here from that just didn't work for me. Oh my gosh, she's clawing me. Okay, this is an unpopular opinion palette that I didn't like because this palette I think was a big hit. This is the Venus XL palette and let me tell you, like the shades in the palette are like seriously some of the prettiest shades I've ever seen in my life. I love the combination of colors and how it's put together. There's just a lot of shades in the palette and me making my own makeup line, I understand why they're like this. You just have to work really hard perfecting deep red shades like this if you are a vegan brand. I do believe this brand is vegan, so this is technically not an eyeshadow palette but a pigment palette. Yep, see they're vegan, so they can't put carmine in their any color that's purpley or red, which means they have to use a red dye color. color, which is not eye friendly, so you have to call it a pigment palette. The Carmine is a product they put in eyeshadow to make it the red color, but it comes from Beetle, so technically it wouldn't be vegan, so you can't use Carmine if you're a vegan brand. Woo! Tell me the tea, girl, I already know. But whenever you have to use like the dyes in the eyeshadows, it can make them a little bit drier and a little bit more rough. A couple of these are so rough that I truly cannot get in there and get them to blend. They become very patchy. And then this one was pretty good, but this one was really rough. And like some of these were rough. This one's alright. But also in this palette, the shimmers are more satins. They're not really shimmery eyeshadows. They're like, a satin is just like in between a matte and a shimmer. And I just would have loved to seen some bomb shimmers in this palette. That's just a personal preference though. It's not like a fact about the palette. But overall, like the palette's so gorgeous. It's just pretty darn dry. I understand why it's dry, so I'm not trying to hate, but it's a little rough. Is what it is. Let's move on to something I've been liking. Ooh, let's talk about this, the Dream Palette. So this is a brand new collaboration with beautybird and Sigma Beauty. Congratulations, beautybird, on this collaboration. It's seriously so beautiful. I love the marble and rose gold that they did. It comes with a double-ended brush. You get the blender end and a flat synthetic end. And then you get like a lot of colors in this palette. This palette is very pigmented. Even the colorful mattes like have a punch to them. This is what I have on my eyelids today. I have on the purple orange. I have this one on my brow bone. And then I popped on this little Morphe cream eyeshadow in Days. This is part of their holiday cream eyeshadow set. And then I popped this on top of it, and it's just so pigmented. Like, it's insane. It blends like a dream. And I really love the color combo because you get orange, blues, purples, and then you get lots of different shimmers. So I feel like you could truly get endless looks with this palette. And it has a nice big mirror in it too, which I like that. A little explanation of each color. This is really something amazing, and yeah, I'm just so happy for her. Here are some swatches of the shimmers. They're really pretty, very pigmented, blend nicely, super easy. Also the mattes in this palette, like, they're no joke, so just to give you guys. Woo! Next palette that didn't work for me, guys, is the Huda Beauty. So a lot of these palettes were nice, and truly this was the only one that was a flop. This is the sapphire one. The blue mattes, none of the mattes in this palette would blend for me or really had that much pigmentation. I will say these three shimmers were amazing, but any of the other shades in the palette they wouldn't blend. They're very dry. They need a little work. But I was excited about this palette, but the green, the red, the orange, all the other stuff was great. I would just maybe avoid this one because of the quality of the eyeshadows. Were a little flip-floppy to me. Oh, girl! And I'm so excited I finally get to talk about this in my channel. I've been wanting to, but my videos lately haven't been about eyeshadow palettes per se. Oh, by the way, I do not have the James Charles Morphe palette yet. When I get it, we'll talk about it, but that's why it's not in this video. So whenever I get it, we'll have that conversation. I'm leaving for New York, so the package will probably come while I'm gone, and then I'll have to wait, but I'll get it. I'll get there. So Urban Decay Cherry Palette. Here are some of the shimmer shades in the palette. They're very, very pigmented. I would say that these are similar quality to the Naked Fire palette. I think they blend out nicely. The palette is simply gorgeous. I need to use it a little more. I'll be honest with you, I've only gotten to use it once and really dig into the shades, but when I did use it, I tried to use many shades as I could in this palette to really get a feel for it. But I do enjoy it. So if you like a cherry dark fall palette, like, I think this would be amazing in your collection. I gotta say the packaging on the palette too is so cool. It's almost like 3D. They have it embossed. They have the cherries behind the scene. It's a very cool palette. I love Naked Cherry, and I like that they keep the Naked line going. I think that's really cool. It's like, oh, this matte brown, girl. Seriously, these mattes, I just want to rub it across my face, but we'll wait till the end of the video for all that madness. I'm just kidding. Oh my god, I think I broke a palette. Next palette that didn't work for me. Okay, there's a few reasons, and you guys may disagree with me, and that's okay, but I didn't like this palette because I like the size and I like the packaging, I gotta say that. But the palette was so dry. I don't know if that was just my palette or what the deal is. These look so crazy creamy. They're so dry. They're so dry. My brown shade just like crumbled right out of the palette. These shades were a little bit muted through here, a little bit dull. I'm talking about the upper shades. And then these were very pretty. They're just like, they have like a dustiness to them, but they're still pretty. Like I don't want to diss them. They're just like powdery and like So I would almost use a glitter glue with these. Little dry, and then these were just so dull. And this palette was so big, and I just wish it was just filled with all kinds of colors, but I felt like it's like blue, blue, purple, purple, pink, pink, brown, brown. I don't know. I get what they were doing. They're trying to make it matchy-patchy and cool and all, and that's good, you know. That's cool. I like the big old mirror in it, but I just never, ever, ever use it, and it makes me sad because it's such cool packaging, and it's like a cool idea, a cool palette, but something I'm not using and something I just don't want to fiddle with the drier eyeshadows, and like all the upper shades or something, they just don't interest me because they're kind of just like dull. I mean, I'm not really knocking it, I'm just not interested in it, if that makes sense. This palette that I've really been enjoying, and I've done a full review on it, so I won't talk about it too much here, and I'll link that full review down below so you guys can watch that video. But the Huda Beauty Nude palette, guys, I was so skeptical about this palette. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but it turns out it's a really good palette. I've used it here and there. The glitters are definitely glitter. You need to get a glitter glue if you're going to use the glitters. They do crease a little, but it's glitter. That's very common. The concealer shade, it did work to carve out the brow. It does work as a primer. Mattes blend out beautiful. These are really interesting, but they wear nice. They just pretty much turn out like a metallic eyeshadow. But palette's really nice. It's $65, so you're gonna pay a whopper for this one. It's pretty expensive for an eyeshadow palette. You do get a lot of shades. The pans aren't that big. So just something to think about for yourself. Do you want to dedicate $65 to one eyeshadow palette with smaller pans? You know, are you really interested in I mean, it's just like those things for you to personally weigh out. It may be more than worth it for you. It may not be worth it at all to you. We are all different. Miss Jenner. I actually liked majority of Kylie's palettes this year. This is probably the one that I reach for the least. I think it's because the shades in it I have in every palette that I own. So it's just so like, and this was like her banana collection, and I swear to God there was no yellow shade in this palette. I was just so disappointed. I don't know, I just wish it had more of a pop to it. Quality of this shadow is garbage right here. The shimmers are so nice in this palette, and the mattes are actually really nice. Don't like this palette though. I never use it. I never reach for it. She has so many bomb ass palettes out now too. This is like, honestly, let me put it this way. There's so many palettes I would recommend on her website. This is the one I would least recommend. All her palettes on her website pretty much have these shades in them, except for there's a few cruddy ones in this that you can just miss. And you just don't need this palette. Just go for any other palette on her site and you will probably be happy. You don't need this. People that bought it are probably slapping me through the computer screen right now. If you want some browns with a pop, you could just get this one. And see, this one has that same reddish shade, but these have better shimmers. So, I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out. And I know for a fact they always grab Sultry, and I never grab this guy. She is, like I said, a bootloads of palettes that I grab for all the time. I love them. This one just ain't it. Okay, this palette's so cool. I just have to talk about it. I feel like Ciate is a brand that is not talked about enough. They have really cool products. So this is called the Glitter Storm palette, and hello, I just turned to a 5-year-old. I'm so addicted to the front of this palette. Like, this is supposed to be a stress reliever too. Like, you're supposed to be able to watch things like this, and it's supposed to bring your stress level down. So girl, that is something to think about, because girl, we be stressing out these days. The holidays are coming, the chicken's burnt, things getting crazy. Glitter Storm palette. So I was like, cool, why is it called? What's the tea inside? So I opened up the palette. It is 9 shades. And these shades are so interesting to me. And that's why I specifically wanted to call this palette out. They're like wet, glittery eyeshadows. It's a very unique formula. I haven't really felt anything like it. Can you guys see how intense the glitter is on these? Imagine these on your eyelids during the holidays, New Year's, living your best life. So then I was like, okay, glitters are great and all. What about the mattes and the other shades? How do they feel? Do they feel like a poo-poo trash can, or do they feel amazing? So I went ahead and swatched them, and they were so amazing. Butter pecan pie, like so soft. That's an awful way to describe it. My hands are, look. Oh my gosh. Hello. I love them. So I think the palette's great. I think it's such a cool palette, and I think it is perfect for the holidays. It's perfect for New Year's to get that little punch on your eyelid. It's got a really unique formula in it. I already talked about this some, so I don't want to beat a dead horse because let me get this straight. I just bought a $200 palette from Natasha Denona off Sephora's website because I want to test it out, and I haven't tested the bigger one out yet. So I am giving them a second chance. But not every palette, not every color in this palette was bad. And I've kind of already talked about this on my channel. Girl, you trying to sabotage me? Okay, well, we'll be back here. Cost of this palette for the amount of fallout in these shimmer shades makes me angry. Powder is flying everywhere whenever I use these, like going crazy. I mean, you can literally see it. Like the whole palette's like, pfft. The mattes are wonderful. I just think the shimmers in these palettes are too explosive for the cost of the palette. However, I am trying her newer palettes. I am hoping for the best. But no, I am truly hoping for the best. I think they'll be better. And I also bought the contour palette. It was really nice. So she's got good stuff. Get ready to pay a real pretty penny for her stuff, but it's nice. Besides that palette that I wasn't digging. Okay, lastly, let me mention real quick the Lit and Wet palette. These are new palettes coming out with ColourPop x Brettman Rock. I love Brett. He's so amazing. I just did some swatches of these and they are so cool. I think that one, they're affordable, so that's nice. And if you're like, I only want some blue, avoid the HUDA one and get this one. And everybody is loving the warm tones. No one can get enough of them. Let's be very real here. So this is a great warm tone palette. The way they're set up, you can get a complete and total look with each palette. And they're so cute. So cute. I love them. So they're really nice, and these are super great to travel with or just stick in your makeup bag and they won't take up too much space. Really cute stuff. Those are coming out. And then that Natasha Denona was the last of the palettes I didn't like. So one last palette I'm gonna mention. Nudie Patootie is back in stock as well as all the bundles. She's amazing. I love her. And Jaybird is just the color that, well, all natural gets a lot of love too, that a lot of people talk about. So I want to just swatch them for you in this video and just mention her real quick because I know I'm going to get a lot of questions. Girl, why don't you mention your own brand? That don't make sense. But I think I do enough mentioning of the palettes to where I don't like have to like, I don't know, like you guys know I love them, right? Like, come on. Do I have to like go on and on and on? But I was like, let me mention her real quick. She's back in stock, LauraleeLosAngeles.com. And yeah, I love my palettes, but I'm not going to harp on and on and on. That's why I figured I would talk about it at the end of the video. I love you guys. That is it. That is all the palettes. Look at this. We'll add a little nudie on top. Whew. That is heaven right there. Well, some of them. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for being here watching. It's been so long since I've done a sit down talk video with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Everything now is like sparklers coming out of our buttholes, crazy videos. So I was like, let me kick it back to an old school talk video. And give this video a thumbs up. Be sure and subscribe to my channel before you leave. Subscribe today. Hey. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys. Night. I'm gonna wash this makeup off and take a shower, pack my bags, clean my house, eat some dinner, go to bed. I'll see you later. Can't wait for people to go off on me about these palettes. They're gonna be so mad. They're gonna be like, Laura, that's my favorite palette you talking about, girl. Yeah. Can you come take my thumbnail picture? He hung up on me, y'all.